Bekah DuBose, and I am the head tailor here at Fort Lonesome, and this is my work wife,
Devereux. I do chain stitch embroidery for Fort Lonesome.
Cheers. Fort Lonesome got started in 2012, but its origin goes back longer than that. Our boss, Kathy, who's the owner and founder of Fort Lonesome, came from California, got an art degree, went to Montana, spent quite a bit of time working on a ranch out there, moved to Austin, started a kids' Western wear line. She was getting kind of burnt out, and a friend reached out to her and said, hey, I have this machine in my garage I'm not using. Would you have any interest in it? And it was a chain stitch machine. This was back in like the early 2000s, so there wasn't a lot of information on the internet on how to even make these machines work. She and a handful of other chain stitch artists figured out how to make these machines work, and thus Fort Lonesome was born. The name Fort Lonesome comes from Kathy's time in Montana when she was out working on a ranch. She spent a lot of time being outside by herself, and she said that lonesome just was a word that stuck with her. So when she was looking to rebrand from her kids' clothing line, Fort Lonesome was just the most prominent name that she had in her brain.
I have a wild origin story. Number one being I don't know how to sew. I went to art school, I've been to airbrush school, I've done airbrush training, and weirdly it is actually very similar to chain stitching. Half of it is just keeping the machine working. Kathy actually hired me initially to do airbrush for her. Somehow that never really transpired, and I just started chain stitching.
I grew up in East Texas on a longhorn ranch. My family was big in the longhorn industry for many decades. I just grew up around all this opulent Western wear. Whenever I was a teenager, I wanted to get as far away from it as possible, and so I couldn't wait to move to Austin. And now here I am, almost 40, and it's a full circle moment where I'm making Western wear. And I don't think my parents could be any prouder at this point.
These machines are like, number one, super old, and they're specifically for chain stitch. Don't do any other form of embroidery. These are all hand cranked. When you're using it, it's almost like drawing with like an Etch-a-Sketch. It actually has like a hand in it as opposed to it just being an automated stitch. That's why everybody kind of has their own style, because it's almost the same as drawing.
There weren't a lot of chain stitchers on the scene. The company immediately started going all over the country, working music festivals, working different events. Here, it's important to have a balance between the two because otherwise we get burnt out. There was a moment where we were doing an art show a couple of years ago where we kind of got to make whatever we wanted, and it took me quite a bit of time to figure out what I wanted to make because we were so deep in making custom garments for people. I always love when a client comes to us and says, here's some ideas, and I just want you to run with it. We wanted to say Graham Ebner.
Because it's true.
Yeah, he's a bootmaker who shares a studio with us. This compound that we're in, we have a lot of artists that we get to see every day. Everybody has a studio, and it's just really nice to have such a great artist community here on the east side.
I just feel very lucky to like be in such a creative square mile. I like my denim flash book. That's my baby. That is in the shop. I got very excited to stitch Lil Nas X's regulars. I think that was a peak.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good one.
I made this flash because Reba always hosts the American Country Music Awards. So it's just her hair, some earrings, and then I also added a corn dog because she's like obsessed with corn dogs. And I had it on there for 2 years. Past year, we went to the awards and we're stitching backstage, and Reba got her hair and the corn dog. So that was a big moment for me.
I think that the one that was the most special to me is that we got to work with Jordan Peele and his crew on the suit for Stephen Yin in the movie Nope. And we only had a few weeks to turn it around, but it was kind of amazing to make that suit. And then we went to the Bob Bullock Theater to go see it in IMAX. To see something you made and it was, you know, the biggest that it could possibly be on the screen was kind of amazing. We collaborated with an artist named Hayden Pettigo and we made a suit for him that was kind of like David Bowie meets Prince meets Uncle Baby Billy. Not only does it look amazing on him, but it got painted on the album cover and it was in a music video. And as an artist, I just totally love his music.
I like to do Kermit the Frog suit.
Wow.
Putting that out in the universe.
There have been a couple of dream suits. We would love to make John Waters a trash suit. I can't stop thinking about it.
That's a good one. I have Big Country in the fridge before you even showed up. We often do a thing called shot o'clock. We only do shot o'clock on Friday.
Yeah. I'm a tequila girl through and through. So ranch water is a nice way to wind down. Well, there's also all of these other chain stitchers that are out there, and it's kind of amazing because it was such a small group of people at first, and now everybody is kind of taking a spin on it. So it's not just Western wear oriented. Some people are more street style. Some people are going back to like 30s, 40s kind of workwear. I just think that it's kind of like music. It just keeps reinventing itself, and a lot more influences keep getting pulled in. So it's just exciting, and I'm curious to see even like where chain stitching is even in 5 to 10 years. You're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. As being the tailor here, it's like every piece that we make in the shop feels like an emotional journey for sure. There's a little bit of crying in the bathroom. There's also like feeling really excited and powerful. There's so many hours that go into a custom piece, and so I feel like you go through all of the emotions, and then afterwards you're ready to go again.
You have to sort of let go of perfectionism in order to get better. Yeah, because some days you just work on a project and you just keep messing things up, you know, and it's like, and you just have to figure out how to fix. But that's also like how you get good at it, and there's like no way around it.
Yay, okay.